You know why I love life groups? It's a place where we can come to escape all the other drama and garbage that life throws at us. It's a place to get together with friends and discuss really what God's doing in our lives and kind of get away from all the other things in life that just drive us crazy, you know? And speaking of things that drive us crazy, what are some of those things that really get under your skin? See, I can narrow some of mine down to really like 3 things that just drive me nuts right out the gate. 1, bad drivers. God definitely uses them to test my patience, no question. 2, when people don't know how to use the word literally properly. Really? You literally died? Literally? Anyways, 3, when people refer to their pet as their kid. And I'm sorry if that's you. I still love you. I just don't love that about you. One thing I think we can all relate to when it comes to things that drive us crazy is this. It's waiting, right? We hate waiting for our food. We hate waiting in line. We hate waiting for slow Wi-Fi. And I think this is part of the reason why we have a hard time with prayer. Sometimes when we pray, it seems like we get focused, right? We talk to God, we feel like He heard us, and then we just wait, like, did that actually work? Are you saying yes or no, God? Am I even doing this right? Like, sometimes I feel like we're, like some of the first people to ever use a walkie-talkie when we're praying, right? Like, is this thing on? Like, can you hear me clearly? What was your response again? And maybe the biggest question of all is, does prayer even work at all? See, there's a parable that Jesus tells us in Luke that gives us some amazing insights into how we should pray. It says this in Luke 11. Then Jesus said to them, suppose you have a friend and you go to him at midnight and say, friend, lend me 3 loaves of bread. A friend of mine on a journey has come to me and I have no food to offer him. And suppose the one inside answers, don't bother me, the door is already locked, my children and I are in bed. I can't get up and give you anything. I tell you, even though he will not get up and give you the bread because of friendship, yet because of your shameless audacity, he will surely get up and give you as much as you need. What Jesus is describing in this parable is a guy who was so insistent on borrowing some bread that he kept knocking and he kept asking. Now, Jesus doesn't specify how long he was knocking and waiting outside for his neighbor to answer with some bread, but you can imagine him standing there, right, outside, hungry, and anxious. There must have been a point when it crossed his mind to think, is it even worth it for me to keep asking? Have you ever texted someone or snapped someone or whatever and then waited and waited and waited, and because you didn't get a response quick enough, you sent another one, then maybe another one, and maybe one more? It only takes so many texts before you kind of get the picture that maybe it's not worth your time to communicate any further with someone who doesn't want to communicate back, right? And unfortunately, I think this is the same mindset that we bring into prayer at times too. Have you ever talked to God about something that was going on in your life that you wanted an answer to, right? Maybe you know someone who got sick and you're asking God for a miracle. Maybe you're just praying to God to finally make some friends, or maybe you're praying to God to break you out of this sin cycle that you've been stuck in. And maybe you've asked so many times that you're beginning to ask yourself, is it even worth it to keep asking? See, Jesus' parable answers that by simply pointing out the fact that persistence is noticed. The Lord sees, He hears, and notices all of your prayers and is always ready to give. But more than that, something changes inside of us when our hearts are fully persistent in going to God in prayer. What we actually end up discovering for ourselves is that whether or not we get the answer we're looking for, God is worth going to anyways. It's to our benefit to continually ask Him for the desires of our heart. It's to our gain to just keep asking Him. We can know that He is present. We can know that He hears us. We can know that He understands us and that He's good. And our bottom line is this: when it comes to prayer, don't quit just because it's quiet. Over the next 3 weeks, Met Youth is going to practice prayer together, and we highly encourage you to take that step in your faith with us. So follow us on social media for all the details. We're going to be posting topics that all of us as Met Youth are going to be praying for leading up to the start of My Winter Weekend. Do it as a life group together. Challenge each other, push each other, and hold each other accountable. Let's get better at connecting with God in prayer together, knowing that when we pray, He hears us, He loves us, and that we should never quit praying just because it seems quiet.